Hey guys, welcome back to the garage, and it's week 7 of the Datsun Z rebuild series. And really so far I've done nothing but make this car worth a lot less by blowing it up in a million different pieces. And unfortunately this week is no different, and we are going to continue the disassembly by dropping the rear suspension components. So I don't usually say this, but I do feel like I have to say it in this episode. I make some pretty big mistakes in this one, and you'll see me do some things that are pretty flat out dumb. But like I said in episode 1, this series is not a how-to series. This is just more like a what is Min up to series. So please be kind. I know I'm an idiot. So with that disclaimer, let's just go ahead and get started. So I was actually very hesitant to continue the disassembly all the way to removing the suspension components from the frame, and that was really pretty much because I hadn't quite decided whether or not I wanted to actually work on the body myself. Working on the body in general, including welding, sandblasting, grinding, panel working, and spray painting, all of that just scares the crap out of me and scares my wallet. I've never done any of those things, and I don't have any of the tools that I need to actually take that on, and forget a rotisserie or an air compressor, I don't even have sandpaper. But I decided to at least try to fix the rusty frame rail on the passenger side myself, and that requires removing the fuel and brake hard lines that are attached to the side of the frame rail, and that requires removing the rear suspension assembly. I don't think you have to, but it would definitely make it a lot easier. After all of the hard lines and fuel delivery components like the fuel pump have been removed, I can try to reattach the suspension and the wheels back to the frame if I do want to take this whole thing to a shop for sandblasting and painting. So after spending some time beneath the car steering, I decided that I want to drop the entire rear suspension in one piece to save time. And I could have disassembled it on the car, but it looked easy enough to get access to all of the bolts and nuts that held this suspension assembly up to the frame. It looked like I have to disconnect the brake lines, remove the differential crossbar, the mustache bar, the strut tower nuts, and a few other very obvious bolts that you'll find if you just spend 2 minutes inspecting the whole thing. And I'll walk you through everything that I did in a minute. And this actually ended up being a pretty smart idea to drop the whole thing at once, I think, since removing the suspension components individually and trying to fight all of the rusty fasteners from underneath the car in awkward positions sounds like a nightmare. So without much thinking further, I just got busy with the impact. And this whole thing was a good train of thought, but the execution was pretty poor on my part, and you'll see what I mean as I go through this. I first disconnect the brake hard lines from the hub, and the hard lines are attached to the frame, which is why you have to disconnect them. And this was surprisingly easy using a flare nut wrench, although it did make a bit of a mess with the leaky brake fluid. Second is unbolting this mustache bar, which holds the rear of the differential bolted up to the frame. And if you already see what's going wrong here, you're definitely smarter than I am. If you don't see what I'm doing wrong yet, it'll all become painfully obvious in a bit. I don't know what this part is called, but there is another cross member that bolts up to the frame that hold the rear of the two lower control arms in place. And you'll need an extension and probably a U-joint to get to those, but those bolts can be found right behind the mustache bar. By the way, if you want a detailed understanding of how all of these rear suspension components are put together and bolted up to the frame, you'll probably just get a much better understanding of that in a future episode in which I put all of this back together, but just bear with me for now. Next to be tackled is what I would call the differential crossbar, or a differential mount. I don't know what it's actually called, but this crossbar serves two purposes. It holds the front of the two lower control arms bolted up to the frame, and it holds the nose of the differential in place. This was just about when I started to realize the mistake that I made. It was a really pretty dumb idea to remove all these bolts while the entire thing sits on its wheels, wheels 2 feet off the ground on this homemade wooden dolly system, and I don't really know what I was thinking in terms of being able to lower this entire suspension assembly from the body once all these bolts and nuts were removed. Really the proper thing to do here would have been to put the body on jack stands on the frame rails and keep the wheels free and only a few inches above the ground, so when this whole thing falls it only has a few inches to drop, not a couple of feet. Well, I've come too far and I realize this thing at least won't come crashing down while I'm under here since the strut towers are still bolted in, so I decided to let's just finish and bolt the sway bar. So now, after realizing I messed up, I'm trying to get the entire thing lifted so that I can get these dollies out of here to free the wheels and drop the whole suspension assembly, but it's proving to be a bit tricky. How I got the dollies placed to begin with was to use the differential as a jacking point, but since now everything has been unbolted, the differential is more or less just hanging in place and I can't use it anymore as a jacking point. After doing some thinking, my backup plan is to use the engine hoist to lift the body up. I've been coming up with some creative uses for this engine hoist, so I'm kind of hoping that it'll bail me out here as well. I just used some ratchet straps to connect to the sheet metal near the taillights, and I was able to lift it up high enough to remove the dollies from underneath. After placing some floor jacks underneath the frame rail, I can now lower it back down, and now the entire suspension assembly is basically hanging on just by the strut towers. Again, probably not a great idea. And this whole thing looks kind of unstable, and it is a little bit, but at least I'm keeping some tension on the engine hoist just in case this entire thing goes south and the body tries to drop to the ground. I'm also putting some smaller jack stands under the suspension assembly so that when I start loosening the 6 strut tower bolts, it can at least start putting some weight on there, and when I get to the last bolts, I don't want hundreds of pounds pulling down on one strut stud and possibly damaging anything. This all seemed like a pretty good backup plan, so I start releasing the strut nuts. And when I released that last one, everything just kind of came crashing down instead of hanging neatly on the jack stands. And this actually would have been perfectly fine, except I totally forgot to release the parking brake cable. So now the entire thing is hanging off of the parking brake cable, which is incredibly strong, by the way. I couldn't believe that basically the entire suspension assembly was hanging off just by the cable. I was expecting it to rip off. But now the parking brake cable is so tensioned that there's no good way to disconnect the parking brake assembly without relifting the entire suspension assembly to give the line some slack again. So I do what I always do when I get stuck. I got the Sawzall out, and I'm hoping that the future men can figure out how to fix it later. And honestly, I don't really expect the drum brakes to be coming back later anyway, so maybe it won't really matter at all. I have no idea. I just know I hate drum brakes and messing with springs. This hasn't been my proudest moment, but at least it's all off the body now and nothing seems to be damaged. Well, except the parking cable, but that's okay, that's the least of my worries for now. So I lift the body up a little bit more using the engine hoist and try to roll the assembly out from underneath, which wasn't as easy as I thought since the whole thing is pretty heavy and the differential is basically dragging on the ground. And the next challenge is figuring out how to keep the body off the ground now that I can't use these homemade wheel dollies anymore. And some of you guys told me that I shouldn't leave engines on the engine hoist, so you guys probably wouldn't be too happy about leaving a car on an engine hoist. So I'm cutting up some 2x4 pieces and turning one of the wheel dollies into let's call it a body dolly, which ended up working out pretty well. This will keep the body nice and high off the ground while keeping the mobility, which is important because I like to roll this thing kind of front to back, side to side around the garage. And once I get the front suspension components off, I'll think about actually putting this whole thing on a rotisserie, but we're not quite there yet. It's time to organize the garage again because it's just getting way too messy in here, and I know I show you guys footage of me just cleaning up around here way too much and way too often. But it's a good chance for me to give a huge shout out to my sister who gifted me a new GoPro camera, and now I have 2 GoPros. I don't know how to quite use it yet, which is why the ratio of this footage is all messed up, but at least you guys can now enjoy cleaner footage, better resolution with better stabilization, so when I strap this thing to my head sometimes, you guys won't get motion sickness. Also, while I have your attention, a note to anyone who is about to take on a project like this. If you can afford to spend 50 extra bucks a month just getting a storage unit, I wholeheartedly recommend it. The Z is a small car, but it won't feel like it if you disassemble it down to the frame, so get a storage unit and make your working space nice and clean. Keep yourself sane and organized, and much more importantly, keep your wife, roommate, landlord, or girlfriend, whoever, from yelling at you by keeping your rusty, crusty, dirty junk elsewhere. I swear, it's so worth it. And speaking of crusty junk, I am going to start disassembling this rear suspension assembly, really for 2 reasons. One, I want to learn a little bit more about how this thing is put together, and 2, I want to be able to, I guess, install all this back at least loosely so that I can have a rolling chassis if I do want to send this whole thing off to a shop for bodywork. So I'm not going to disassemble it completely because, one, I don't have new bushings or anything. In fact, I don't even have a shop press. I should probably go get one of those, but I do want to disassemble it just enough to be able to reinstall everything back, since I figure it'll be easier to do it that way than trying to get this whole thing to fit back onto the body at the same time. It'll be really difficult to align or to realign all the bolt holes if everything is connected together. And if you want to learn more about how this thing is assembled and all the nitty-gritty details, you should definitely get this book, How to Restore Your Datsun Z Car by Wick Humble. It includes a lot of exploded diagrams just like this one, so you know all the right names for everything in case you want to replace something, and it also shows you how all of this is put together. Or you can just wait until I actually get to the episode in which I put this thing back together with cleaned and or upgraded components. But for right now, I'm just pulling apart anything that I can with a wrench and an impact. So we're gonna just about wrap it up for this episode, and I do apologize for the delayed episode this time around. My family was visiting, and we took our annual family vacation to the Great Smoky Mountains this time, and I just had a really wonderful time disconnecting and staying in a cabin and hiking a lot. Of course, my day job got crazy because I was out of the office for a few days, and I was struggling to catch up, and I know you guys don't care about any of these excuses, but here's a little something to make it up to you guys and to hopefully to get you guys all psyched up. So that concludes this week's episode, but of course we can't actually conclude until we do our weekly GoFundMe shoutouts. And for this week we only have one, but that's okay, it's better than none. So this week, Joe M, thanks for donating $25. Best of luck with your own Z-Car restaurant up there in Wisconsin. Glad you're enjoying the videos, and thanks for the support. For everyone else, if you haven't done so already, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, or at least tell your friends about it. And if you feel extra generous, I do have a GoFundMe page, which I will link down below. It's always in the description. And I could certainly use your support right now because I spent a lot of money trying to get this engine and transmission and oil pan and engine mounts. And I think I dropped about $5 grand so far. There's a lot more money to be spent. And that's enough of a hint for what this engine is, which will be revealed next time. But I could certainly use your support, but if you're not in a place where you can donate, that's okay. Just keep paying attention, I guess. So stay healthy, stay happy. I'll see you guys next time.